Alright guys, today we're going to make this thing. Now I bet you're wondering what this is, and I'll tell you in a little bit. Just follow along and watch for now. What you're going to need is you're going to need some 3/4 inch black iron pipe, or galvanized, whatever you feel like using. I like the black iron better. You're going to need some 3/4 inch pipe couplings. You're going to need 3 to 4 of these thingies. These are little eye and pulley swivel things, whatever. You want them to spin. You want them to spin. I can't iterate that enough that you want them to spin. There are a couple other things you could probably use if you could find them, but yeah, you want to make sure you get one small enough to fit in there. You want to make sure this fits in there. We can grind this away, and in fact we're going to. You're going to need a pile of junk that includes some tools like files, a hacksaw, some chain with some long links. You want long links. That's very important for this, is long links. You're going to need some small bolts with the corresponding nuts. I'm using 8x32 or 8-32, whatever. You're going to need some 1/4 inch rod. I'm using 1/4 inch threaded because I had a lot of scrap with some messed up threads, and I had saved it for some reason, and this is what it's getting used for. You're going to need some well, actually, you don't need this. This is optional. Some 1/4 inch steel tubing. I have a lot of it, so I'm using it for this. You're going to need some drill bits. To be exact, you want a 3/16, a 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch bit. As far as the pipe lengths go, you are going to want at least 60 inches of it. Yeah, at least 60 inches. I got a big, huge 60-inch piece. And then I promptly brought it home and was pissed off because that's a pipe tapping set and it's all NPT, which is National Pipe Thread, which is not the same thread as this. Not the same. Was very annoying. Ended up taking this piece of tubing. I got the pipe at Lowe's. I then took it to Home Depot after I had cut it on my chop saw over there into 15-inch sections, which will get you 4 of them. 60 inches divided by 4 is 15. I wanted 4 sections. That's how I got it. You could do it as 3, which would make it 20 inches apiece. It's whatever you want to do. I wanted to do 15. And I had them thread it. Go to Home Depot. They can cut and thread your pipe for a small fee. If you find one of the old nicer guys, they might even just do it for free for fun. The guy did it for me. So now if I need pipe cut and threaded, I'm going to Home Depot, because apparently Lowe's doesn't do it, or they're not supposed to, at least. So first step we're going to do is we're going to drill this thing out and grind away, and I'm going to come back when I've got that set up. I'd also like to add, you'll probably need a drill. I think I probably said that, but I don't remember. Some optional stuff, some oil for cutting, a Sharpie, a screwdriver, some pliers, and a pipe cutter, preferably a small one. Alright, so I'm all set. I got this set up. I'm going to drill out this rivet from the back where it kind of caves in. And then I'm going to drill it through till it gets all the way through to the one side. And then I'm going to punch it out with an Allen wrench or something, whatever you have. You can use cutting oil on this part, but you don't really have to. So I don't actually use technically cutting oil. I use 3M. Should probably try and find some actual cutting oil. As you can just see, I just hit it, and it's stuck in that wheel, which means I've gone through this one side already, which is what we want, and now we can punch it out, which I'm going to do off camera, and I'm going to come back when I'm setting up for the next part of this. A little tip, if you can find something that's a little bit smaller than the hole, or a fairly bit smaller than the hole but would still work, use that. Like the Allen wrench is just a little bit too big and it kind of gets stuck in there. It kind of starts to broach these wheels. Keep these wheels because they might be useful. They're a nice solid chunk of metal. of whatever kind of metal it is, and they probably can be useful. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grind away a little bit until it fits in the end of the pipe. Real fast, don't forget to make sure you drill out the other side of this as well, so the hole goes all the way through and it's the same size. Alright, I've ground away around it so it fits in the pipe now, and I'm going to cut away this little top section away with a hacksaw because it's probably going to get in the way of the chain later. Alright, it's all ground down and cut away. I even beveled the edges with the assortment of files and cleaned up the inside just a little bit. Double check my own work there. Now what we're going to do is, this is where the optional step of the pipe comes, the little steel tubing comes in. We're going to mark it with a Sharpie just under the width that it needs to be, or just under the width of this. So when we put it in, we don't have to file it to shape or have to push it into place or whatever. You can cut this with a hacksaw, but just to make it easier, I'm going to use the pipe cutter. And this is where the little bolts come in, and the nuts, and the chain. I'm going to come back after I've cut this. Alright, I've got a little piece of steel pipe in there, or cut. I put it in the chain. I'm going to slide it in there, kind of using the chain link to push it where I want it to go. Then I'm going to drop the bolt in. When I get that spacer aligned, put the nut on, and tighten it up with a pair of pliers and a screwdriver. And then cut this off. We're then going to go about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and it's 6. We're going to cut a chunk out with a hacksaw, or an angle grinder. You could use that too. Just do one cut and hit it with a hammer if you don't want to do a lot of cutting. But it's just easier for me to cut a chunk out with a hacksaw. Now, I'm doing 5 lengths because I find that works for me. If you want to go another extra length or so, do whatever you want. I like 5 lengths. Alright, in case you guys were wondering, that little piece of tubing is a spacer to keep this from crushing on so the chain can move. If you tighten it down too much, which if you tighten it down that much, honestly, you've done wrong, but I just wanted to put one in there for, safety. 5 lengths. I got 3 foot of this chain. And I've already made the other 2 that I'll need, or the other 3 that I need. Obviously 2 are in this, and then I've got an extra one that I tried to be this film for this video, but I messed up the video, so luckily I had one more of these things to do it with. Yeah, 5 lengths to bolt this thingy. That's what it is. Now we're going to move on to the pipe, and I'm going to set up for that. Alright, something I just really found out. Factory threads on pipe don't freaking like couplings. They don't like to go in. If you have to get this cut and threaded at Home Depot or wherever, I highly suggest you ask them, or if for some reason you can do it, you chase the factory threads. They don't like couplings. You also occasionally may get a bad coupling, like I have my other one. I've got to go replace it. It screws on lopsided. I guess it was a factory screw up. It was drilled wrong or whatever. But yeah, when you're tightening, the first thing is you do want to put the pipe into one of the couplings. I'm going to tighten it. I'm going to tighten it just about as far as I can get it, which hopefully will be right up to the end because that's where I want it. But on these ones that he cut, they go right up to the end, no problem. No problem. See? No problem. Get them. Camera slid in the thing. So get those threads chased. I'm going to come back after I have this tightened down. Well, so the best thing I've found so far that seems to be working is actually filing out the bottom half of the threads with a triangular file. This is going to take a while. And this little update is only so my phone doesn't just black out and then I have to refilm the whole thing again. Alright, so this is still taking forever and I'm still stuck filing these out and my phone's about to die. So I'm gonna have to end this one here and do another part later after my phone charges and I fix these threads. So I'll see you later, guys.